So, how are you,
Very
my
good.
friend?
I'm here again in my garage, waiting for all of this to be over.
Yes.
Because we're supposed to be in Mexico City right now teaching dental prosthetics.
Sí, tendríamos que estar esta misma semana en Ciudad de México para dar el taller de prótesis dentales. Estamos muy tristes. We really wanted to do it.
Yes.
But it's gonna be soon, I hope.
I hope so. And so again, in the meantime, doing this, we're going to talk a little bit about another movie.
Yes.
With flamethrowers in it. We're not only going to do flamethrower movies.
I was thinking the same, like BAB.
Happens to be two
¡Cómprate un cerebro!
Only flamethrower movies. This is flamethrower hour. Now, we're going to talk about the 1982 version of The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yes. Vamos a hablar de la película de La Cosa de John Carpenter. Y justamente lo que va a decir ahorita Kevin es que la escogimos porque él trabajó en esa película, right? That you worked there.
I did. I worked on the last 2 months of it. It was about a year-long process to create everything, and I was working on other things, and I came in the final 2 months and worked on it. I did various things. I ran the foam latex. Everything was foam rubber back then. There's no silicone yet. So all the pieces that you see are foam latex. So I came in the last 2 months. There's someone who was doing it before me. I took over. I did a lot of punching hair.
Okay.
Where you insert the hair one time onto the creatures and things. And puppeteering, because we actually filmed some of the sequences in our shop itself.
Okay, let me just say, because esta vez vamos a estar platicando y traduciendo, porque bueno, justamente la vez pasada para la transmisión o el video que hicimos para YouTube, lo que hicimos fue que hice la traducción, ¿no? Pero esta vez, bueno, o más bien puse los subtítulos, entonces esta vez queremos hacer la traducción. Bueno, Kevin trabajó 2 meses para The Thing y prácticamente lo que él estuvo haciendo más fue hacer, ellos llaman en inglés running foam, que es literalmente en español sería como correr foam látex, ¿no? Pero bueno, realmente lo que significa es que él estuvo preparándolo, haciendo toda esta preparación del foam látex, hizo mucho de ponchar pelo y bueno, él llegó casi al final, él llegó a los últimos 2 meses de la película. Ok.
And the thing is, there was an original story, a novella, which is just a long, short story, in 1938 that John Campbell wrote, called Who Goes There?
Who Goes There, exactly.
Yeah, and then they made in 1950, look at them.
Entonces, The Thing es una novela de ciencia ficción de 1938, sí, de 1938 de John Campbell, y el título original se llama Who Goes There, ¿no? ¿Quién va ahí? Pues bueno, de ahí se basaron, existen 3 películas, se han hecho 3, de lo que vamos a hablar también ahorita.
So in 1951 was the Thing from Another World. In 1982 was John Carpenter's The Thing, which is closer to the original story. And then in 2011, it was just called The Thing, and that's actually a prequel to John Carpenter's The Thing. But we won't talk much about that because it's
Sí, casi no vamos a hablar de las otras películas, pero son 3, una de 1951, la otra de 1982, 81. It's 81, right?
81 we worked on it. I think it was released in 82.
Okay, yes. So, entonces es 1981, salió en 1982 y de hecho si se fijan al principio de la película dice Antártica 1982, ¿no? Entonces, bueno, más o menos es como en esta época. Y después hay otra del 2000, 2011, right?
Yeah.
Que es más como una precuela, pero bueno, como decía Kevin, no vamos a hablar mucho de esas otras dos, más bien vamos a hablar solo de la de 1981, porque la verdad es que aparte es la mejor de las tres.
Okay.
Yes.
And all the stories deal with a research station filled with scientists in Antarctica, and they discover a flying saucer, a spaceship, an alien spaceship that has crashed maybe like 1,000 years before and melted into the ice.
Yes. Entonces todas empiezan con, es un asentamiento científico en donde encuentran una, you say a flying, what?
Flying saucer.
Flying what?
Saucer. Disco volante en Italiano.
Es que saben qué me da risa porque cada vez que dice flying no sé qué, yo le entiendo una salchicha voladora. Because it seems like you're saying sausage.
No, that's...
I know.
Saucer. That's what they were nicknamed in the States.
I know you are not saying sausage, but it seems like you are saying sausage.
No.
So, and then, y ellos encuentran este platillo volador y de ahí bueno, dentro hay un alien, ¿no? Yes.
And so in the 1951 version, they find the flying saucer, and there's just one. There's one alien. He's like a big hulking guy, and they have to protect themselves against this one thing. In the John Carpenter version of Alien, they wanted it to be more. They wanted to keep the theme of like paranoia,
okay,
like where they're not trusting each other, and it just changes, and you never know like who it could be. So there's not just one monster walking around; it could be anybody who's infected with this alien, which is actually kind of appropriate for us to talk about now with all the
alien thing happening now. This our zombie apocalypse that we are dealing with.
We have to keep 3 iguanas away from each other.
Dice Kevin que, bueno, justamente pues que está súper bien el tema ahora de hablar de The Thing o de la cosa, porque justamente por lo que está pasando, ¿no? A nivel mundial, y está haciendo referencia de que aquí en la península de Yucatán tenemos que estar separados como con 3 iguanas de distancia. Entonces, bueno, ya Kevin ya es más yucateco, yo no sé qué hace. I don't know what you're doing there in the States. You should be here having 3 iguanas away from me.
We need it. And we will get a shop iguana.
Yes, please. Sí, vamos a tener una iguana en el taller algún día, lo verán.
But what makes the John Carpenter The Thing so different and so special was just the groundbreaking, crazy effects, makeup effects,
yes,
that Rob Bottin created for it. That at the time, no one had ever seen really that kind of stuff. It was just wild.
Lo que hace interesante la película de The Thing son los efectos especiales que hasta ese momento nadie había hecho este tipo de efectos tan raros y tan locos. De hecho, si ustedes han tenido la oportunidad de ver esta película, bueno, los efectos especiales y el maquillaje va a cargo de una persona que se llama Rob Bottin. Justamente, pues bueno, Kevin no era la primera vez que trabajaba con él. Y pues esta persona, Rob Bottin, es quien hace el diseño de todos estos personajes y y son, como dice Kevin, son personajes muy complejos, ¿no? Okay. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I met Rob in maybe 1978.
Lo conocí en 1978.
Right after Star Wars came out, and he was Rick Baker's assistant.
Él fue asistente de Rick Baker y casi después de que salió Star Wars.
And Rob and I were the same age, so I was, I guess, 19 or 20 when I met him.
Okay, tenía como 19 o 20 años cuando conoció a Rob.
And just really quick, the trajectory that happened there, the little bit of history was Rick got a call to do a movie called The Howling, which was a werewolf.
Rick Baker recibió una llamada para hacer The Howling, ¿no? Que es otra película de hombres lobos.
And Rob was his assistant.
Rob fue su asistente.
But then Rick got the call for American Werewolf in London.
Y a Rick lo llamaron después para Hombre Lobo Americano en Londres.
Which was a bigger, higher profile, bigger budget movie, and Rick ended up winning the Oscar for it.
Sí, Rick Baker ganó el Oscar por esta película.
So Rick had to leave The Howling, and he told the director, Joe Dante, Rob could do it. Just let Rob handle it. And that was my first job in California. Rick called me up and he said, if you could get to California, you could work on The Howling. So that was my first job, and I met Rob again working on that. Okay,
so básicamente Rob se quedó a cargo del trabajo de The Howling porque a Rick ya lo habían llamado para hacer Hombre Lobo Americano en Londres. Entonces le dijo Rick a Kevin, pues, si quieres ya empezar, ahora sí que como dicen en mi pueblo, jálate, vente para acá y trabajas con Rob. Y entonces ese fue el primer trabajo que tuvo Kevin, ¿no? Yes.
And so I left Rob and went to do American Werewolf in London with Rick. And then a year or so later, I came back to Rob's shop to work on The Thing when they were coming down to the end. So I came in for the last 2 months.
Sí, terminaron de grabar Hombre Lobo Americano y Kevin regresó y entonces ya trabajó con Rob en The Thing y ya casi estaban terminando el rodaje. Es por eso que también pues Kevin ya llegó al final porque estaba en Europa haciendo Hombre Lobo Americano en Londres.
And at that point Rob and Rick kind of had a falling out. And so when I came back to Rob's to work on The Thing, he was very suspicious of me, like I was a spy from Rick's.
Okay, sí, había así como que duda entre que si Kevin iba a revelar algún secreto a Rick o algo, ¿no?
And I had to just stay in my room and I couldn't look at anything.
And then I can't imagine you like there in the foam room just like, I want to do something else.
Well, the first couple of days I had to. It's like, okay. I told him, it's like, Rob, I don't work. I'll just work wherever I can work, I'm not a spy. But those guys, they were like super paranoid. And I think because Rob was making such amazing stuff, he was very super protective of it. And he didn't want, even Rick, his mentor, he didn't even want him to know about it.
Okay.
He just wanted to have everything just, be seen when you see the movie and like no details out about it.
Sí, pues bueno, dice que justamente en esa época estaban como tratando de proteger muchísimo todo lo que se estaba haciendo y pues ni siquiera, aunque Rick había sido maestro, mentor de Rob, pues él decía no quiero que nada salga de acá, ¿no? Entonces por eso lo tenían solamente en el cuartito de foam látex y no lo dejaban salir. Y pues le digo que ya me lo imagino ahí al pobre así todo como regañado ahí en el cuartito de foam latex, ¿no? Okay, so then what happened?
Well, then we were working at a place called Universal Heartland because it was a building that Universal Studios rented or owned, and it was on Heartland Street or Heartland Avenue, whichever. And Universal would do special effects there, like Battlestar Galactica TV show. They filmed all the spaceships. They even still have all the spaceships.
In California.
What's that?
This studio was in California.
Yeah, in North Hollywood.
Okay, so bueno, estaban en California en un estudio en el norte de Hollywood y bueno, ahí estaban haciendo gran parte de la filmación en ese entonces, me imagino. Sí.
So it was a huge building and there were areas where you could film and things like that. So some of the stuff you see in the movie, like when they do the blood test.
Okay.
Guys are tied up on the sofa and one starts to change. That was done at Universal Heartland. We just got the sofa and built like a wall behind it, and one of the guys had the flamethrower and the outfit, and they just framed his head out. But one of the shop guys was standing there. And I think it's only like one shot made it into the movie, one or two. I mean, it's really fast. But we actually filmed stuff there.
Okay, so entonces grabaron, una de las escenas que grabaron en este edificio fue donde está, las pruebas de sangre. Es que hay una escena en donde ellos están haciendo, están tratando de ver qué cuerpo es el que tiene el alien en ese momento. Entonces hacen una prueba con como un pedazo de metal caliente y sale el alien y así se dan cuenta, ¿no? Entonces dice que esta parte es en donde están haciendo la prueba de la sangre, ahí es en donde grabaron esta escena.
And some shots too of the Blair monster was what he was called, because there's a character named Blair, and he ends up, again, spoiler alert, but it's been since 1982. Blair is the Thing. He's one of the guys infected with the Thing, and at the end he has like this big like thing and a mouth on the side of his head. And we filmed that at Heartland too.
Okay. Sí, la otra escena que grabaron ahí es en donde sale pues sí, este monstruo que se abre del lado, el personaje se llama Blair y por eso le llaman que a ese alien se llama Blair, ¿no? El monstruo Blair. Entonces, Kevin, I would like you to tell us the complexity of creating all these monsters, because there were a lot of them and all of them are very, like, they have a lot of details. Is it all just like foam latex? What do you like when you are dealing with this type of creatures or designs? What is the first thing you do? Like, let me just say this in Spanish. Le estoy preguntando o le estoy pidiendo a Kevin que nos platique un poco qué de todo del diseño de una criatura se hace primero, porque esta película tiene muchísimos personajes muy complejos, muy difíciles, tienen muchos detalles, y cuando haces el diseño de ese personaje o de esa criatura es como ¿qué se hace primero? ¿Por dónde empiezo? ¿No?
Well, it begins with the design that had to be approved by John Carpenter. And there was a guy named Dale Kuipers and a comic book artist named Mike Plude that helped Rob, among other people, to come up with the concepts of what these things would look like. Really briefly, originally they were going to do the Thing would turn into a thing, like an actual finished creature at one point. But this was just a couple of years after Alien, and that had such a big impact with H.R. Giger's designs that Rob just kind of, and they came up with cool looking things. Again. But he said, you know what, let's not even go down that road. Let's just make the Thing just constantly changes.
Okay.
So that's one aspect.
Ok, so lo primero es el diseño, ¿no? Dice Kevin que pues todos los diseños tenían que pasar a través de Rob para que fueran aprobados, y había otra persona que era el que estaba haciendo el diseño de estos personajes, que él era un ilustrador. Can you repeat the name of the person?
Mike Plude was one.
Okay.
And Dale Kuipers was another.
So there were two.
There was a bunch, but those were like the two main ones that I remember. Okay. And Rob.
Entonces era un equipo grande, pero realmente, bueno, pues estos dos eran como los principales. Entonces se hace este diseño, y una de las cosas que está platicándonos Kevin es que años anteriores había salido ya Alien y había sido un súper éxito. Entonces, y el diseño de Alien era algo muy complejo, entonces ellos estaban buscando no competir, pero tratar de que el Alien de esta película de la cosa se viera diferente y que también fuera algo pues espectacular. Entonces decidieron que no nada más iban a ir con el diseño de un solo alien para toda la película, sino que hicieron diseños o decidieron que ese alien se iba a ir transformando a lo largo de la película, y por eso es que tiene diferentes aliens y tiene diferentes diseños. Okay.
And the business was very different then, where John Carpenter was very successful with Halloween, made a lot of money with a low budget, and he did Escape from New York, and was that before or after? That was before. So he was very successful, and so it could be just this conversation between John Carpenter and Rob about how the stuff should be and how it should look like. It's not like nowadays where there'd be like 20 producers in a room all giving their ideas. It was very much just like those two guys figuring out the look of the movie and what.
Okay, sí, entonces era más fácil, un poco más fácil en el sentido de que no era como ahora, que era un grupo de personas y que todos pueden tener decisiones sobre la película, sino que en ese entonces solamente era el director y el diseñador del personaje o del alien o del maquillaje o de los efectos especiales, que en este caso pues era Rob, ¿no?
And so there were a lot of millions of drawings and sketches and things early on, and little maquettes, little small sculptures. But a lot of it too was just like, there was so much work to do. There was too much work to do, so that even one thing, there's a scene in the kennel with the dogs where the dog that's infected with the alien starts to transform, and he turns into this weird looking turkey thing. That Rob was so swamped with stuff that he actually hired Stan Winston, his studio, to make that one puppet. Everything else was done at Rob's, but except for that one thing.
Okay, aquí hay una parte en donde hay un perro, en donde sale como que una cosa, y voy a hacer lo mismo que Kevin.
It's my alien dog imitation.
Okay, yeah, this is my Kevin dog imitation.
Don't make fun of me.
And then, also, esta escena, le pidieron ayuda al estudio de Stan Winston. Entonces, esta fue la única escena que hicieron en Stan Winston.
Jurassic Park.
Que Stan Winston son los que hicieron todos los efectos especiales de Parque Jurásico, Terminator y bla, 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 ¿no?
Right. But yeah, the amount of work was incredible. Even to the point where there's a scene towards the end when they do the blood test, which was really interesting because Kurt Russell is holding a little dish, and they put the blood in it, and he heats up a wire, like a little metal wire, and he puts it in the blood. The idea being that if the alien blood is infected, it'll go away from the heat. And he does one, it's like, okay, you're good, okay, you're good. And he gets to one, and it jumps out of the dish. And they kind of got you used to it because the look of it, because there's a fake arm with a dish in it, and the camera angle is kind of similar to this, so you can't see in the top. And Kurt Russell is just standing next to this fake arm, you know. And it's hollow inside, and there's an air cannon underneath it with compressed air that you could hit a switch and it just blows all that air out. And so they stuffed a bunch of blood in there, and they even made a little thing to go in it that was like a big mouth with little skinny arms on the side, and he shot out. And you don't see that at all in the movie, but I thought it was like such a cool little detail. I always wish I had one of those because he was like a cool little.
Ok, so, entonces Kevin nos está platicando ahora sobre este efecto que justamente es una mano sosteniendo la charola de sangre. Entonces, lo que dice Kevin es que Kurt Russell está parado así y alguien tiene solamente al lado una mano falsa que está hueca por dentro, pero tiene un mecanismo de presión de aire, ¿no? Entonces, cuando creo que me ven mejor en Instagram que acá, pero bueno, es como que la mano está hueca y entonces alguien por debajo hace presión. Entonces cuando hace presión sube todo esto, o sea, imagínense que está así, sube la presión y entonces sale lo que hay aquí con la presión de aire y se ve cómo sale pues este pedazo de sangre, ¿no? En esa escena de The Thing. Eso está súper padre, that's so cool, because
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's not new that they do it like a lot nowadays, or maybe they're doing it like different now, but back then, that's and even it's like we've said before, it's some things that they were used to use back then, they are still so like we can still use it now, no?
You can use it, but a lot of productions wouldn't even know how to now. Everything is geared for digital effects.
Claro.
To a certain extent, it makes sense because, like, when we did The Thing, there was slime and blood and stuff everywhere, all over the set. And you had to clean it up, for the next take. Yeah. And with it, if you do it in a computer, it's like all very clean. You just shoot a blank plate of a room, and then you could add elements into it. I don't know, but it's just, it doesn't have the same feel of something.
Yeah, of course. There. Sí, lo que estamos platicando es que, le digo a Kevin, es que está padrísimo porque pareciera como que cuando él nos lo dice es como claro, ¿no? Y a lo mejor puede ser, o pensamos que puede ser una técnica relativamente antigua, pero no, o sea, todavía muchas de esas técnicas se siguen utilizando hoy en día, son válidas, son vigentes, ¿no? Todos estos mecanismos. Y es lo que está diciendo Kevin, que aunque pareciera que ahorita nos lo dice y es como, claro, muchas compañías o en muchos lugares de que se están haciendo películas no lo saben hacer, no se sabe hacer y entonces más bien optan por efectos especiales digitales y pues ya no tiene el mismo feeling, ¿no? De hacer un efecto digital. Digo, seguramente quien hace el efecto digital va a decir, se ve padrísimo, pero a nosotros, por ejemplo, que nos encantan todas estas mecanismos, crear, pensar cómo solucionar un efecto especial de manera práctica, pues es algo padre, ¿no? Es pensar cómo se va a hacer. Entonces, so yes.
And they went to the extent where there's a scene like right after that blood test, I'm thinking back at cinema. After the blood test, where one of them starts to transform, and it was like a big puppet, basically, with a foam latex skin that we pumped benzene or some solvent through it that affected foam that started to swell it up.
Yeah.
Because foam has a chemical reaction with benzene. So it looks like it's changing. He gets up, he breaks up out of the sofa, and his head like opens up into a big mouth, and he bites another guy.
Yeah.
And picks him up.
See.
And so obviously that's a dummy body that the guy is holding. To keep the weight down, they actually even molded his boots and cast them out of latex, so his boots would be lighter for that scene, just to make the shot work a little bit better.
Okay.
Like that level of detail goes into a movie like that. It's just amazing.
¡Qué bonito!
Simple, but it's like what a good idea. Because these boots weigh a couple pounds. They're big, heavy winter boots. So it's like mold them and cast them out of slip with it.
Okay, entonces bueno, nos está platicando ahora también que varias cosas. Es una escena en donde hay una deformación del rostro, entonces lo que ellos utilizan para hacer esta deformación es el líquido o un producto que se llama benzina. Cuando la benzina toca el foam látex empieza a distorsionar. Entonces eso es lo que ellos utilizaron en ese momento está hecho el rostro de foam látex, pones la benzina y entonces empieza a distorsionar y así es como se hace ese efecto especial. Después estaba diciendo que hay una parte en donde se abre la cabeza de esta persona, agarra a otro de los personajes y lo empieza a levantar y como a golpear y pelear con él y todo, ¿no? Entonces Dice que, bueno, hay que pensar en todos los detalles de cómo es que va a funcionar, porque tiene que ser algo muy ligero. O sea, no podemos pensar que va a levantar o que ese títere, por así decirlo, ese puppet, va a levantar el peso de una persona, sino que hay que pensar cómo hacerlo más ligero. Entonces nos está explicando un poco de cómo es que incluso las botas de este personaje pues se hacían de foam latex, ¿no? Que aparte, it's like back then I think they used to do like everything with foam latex. I don't know now, because now we have like some other materials.
It depends. Like Rick used foam on like the Nutty Professor. They experimented with silicone, but it was just too heavy, to make like such thick pieces of silicone.
Yeah.
It'd be like 40 pounds of silicone on Eddie Murphy's neck. So they use foam, it's lighter.
Sí, es que el foam látex es muy ligero. Es lo que está diciendo Kevin, que Rick utilizó o hizo experimentos de prótesis con silicón para hacer El Profesor Chiflado, ¿no? Que es esta película donde Eddie Murphy va como todo gordo, y son prostéticos de hasta 20 kilos. 40 pounds, you said?
Whatever it would be. I mean, it's like
wow, como por dar un ejemplo, ¿no? Pero el chiste es que es muy pesado, pues, el silicón. De por sí el silicón es un producto, cuando haces una pieza de silicón grande es más pesado que el foam látex.
Because it's solid and foam is foam. It's made of little air bubbles, so it's a lot lighter.
Porque el silicón es un sólido y el foam látex es una espuma que pues al final está básicamente lleno de aire.
And again, just to keep with your question about like the detail that went into it, the most famous scene in the movie is when the guy is having a heart attack and the doctor is going to use the defibrillator on him and shock his heart and wake him up. And he does it once, and he goes to do it again, and the guy's chest just opens up into this giant mouth, and he goes down, and it bites on his arms and bites his hands off.
Sí.
Which, that in itself is like just a crazy cool concept of like an alien attacking. It just decides like right then I'm gonna use my body to bite you. But what they did was they hired a guy who was a double amputee. He had no hands.
Okay.
They did bloody stumps on ends of his hands, and they did a likeness makeup so that he looked like the actor. And it's one shot, one really quick shot, but he has the wig, and he has the makeup on, and he just kind of goes, like,
sí.
Kind of turns away. One shot that goes by in like a split second, but it sells that sequence, and they, that's like a couple of weeks of work for, 1 second.
Wow, ok, entonces está diciendo ahora que, Vicky, que hay una escena en donde está una persona acostada en una camilla y lo están tratando de reanimar, entonces utilizan un desfibrilador. Cuando hace el último o el segundo, por así decirlo, se abre el pecho de esta persona y sus brazos entran en esta como boca que le sale del estómago, ¿no? Del abdomen. Cierra los dientes y cuando el que lo está tratando de reanimar quiere sacar sus brazos, se los corta, ¿no? Entonces el efecto lo hicieron, contrataron a una persona que justamente no tenía los brazos, tenía los brazos amputados, y lo que hicieron fue ponerle unos pedazos de sangre. Entonces cuando él baja los brazos, sale toda la sangre, pero además le hicieron un maquillaje de como visajismo de sombra, luces y sombras, para que pareciera como que era el actor, pero en realidad no era el actor, solamente era pues esta persona que no tenía brazos. Y entonces dice Kevin, es muchísimo trabajo, semanas de trabajo para hacer esta sola escena que dura 1 o 2 segundos. Y es nada más que el maquillaje, la persona sale y entonces él voltea y ya, ¿no? Y así es como se hizo este efecto de para que pareciera que cuando levanta los brazos ya no tenía brazos, ¿no? That's super cool.
And I should explain, last week I had a lava lamp.
La semana pasada tenía una lámpara de lava.
In the movie, Kurt Russell's character drinks J&B scotch all the way through. So I like to have a little set dressing.
Sí, a Kevin le gusta tener hecho su set. Entonces, la semana pasada para Once Upon a Time in Hollywood puso una lámpara de lava. Y en esta ocasión tiene atrás ¿Es whisky?
Scotch,
ajá, sí es whisky. Que es la bebida que toma Kurt Russell sí se llama así, ¿no? Yo sí se llama así, se me cuatrapeó el nombre. Sí, el personaje principal en The Thing.
And coming in at the end, they had already filmed all the stuff in British Columbia that was supposed to be Antarctica, and they had filmed all the interiors. We were only doing like the little effects shots, so we never really saw the actors. Kurt Russell came in one time. We saw John Carpenter all the time. Kurt Russell came in once, and his hair was like all short. He was shaved because he was doing a play, and so he didn't look at all anything like he looks in the movie. And I didn't see any of the actors until we went to the cast and crew screening at Universal Studios, and everyone was there. But I did work. Real quick, I'll tell you a story. I worked with Wilford Brimley, who was an actor in there. He played Blair, who becomes the Blair Monster.
Okay.
He becomes like the ultimate thing at the end. He was a funny guy. He wasn't like a friendly funny guy, but in retrospect, he was funny. I didn't meet him on The Thing, but afterwards, I worked at Lucasfilm, George Lucas in San Francisco, and we were doing an Ewok TV movie, The Battle for Andor, and he was the star of it. And we were on set one day, and he comes in and he's looking at the Ewoks and he's looking at the creatures that I made. And he looks at me and he goes, "What is this, some kind of kids movie?" And it's like, yeah. It's like, you're in it. It's like, what are you asking me for? It's like, you're the star of it. And he was like kind of out of it. But he hated working on the Ewok movie. And then we're sitting around one day and he looks at me and he goes, "You know something?" And he's looking at me and he goes, "You got a lot of nerve." And I was like, what did I do? Like, what are you talking about? And he goes, "You don't know what aliens look like. You know, what makes you think you know what aliens look like?" And he goes, "When they made E.T., it should have been all E.T.'s point of view." And it's like, that'd be weird, but it's like, okay. But so I said, it's like, how would you make this movie that has like a bunch of aliens? Like they're all looking at each other. It's like, how would you do it? He goes, "Shouldn't do it."
What?
Yeah, it's like, you're in the damn movie, man. It's like, it was just a eccentric, grumpy old guy.
Dice, bueno, nos está contando Kevin Ya lo intentamos, nena, gracias, Vicky. Tenemos el volumen de Kevin abajo y también el mío, y bueno, como estamos haciendo el video para YouTube, pues bueno, es por esto que tenemos un poquito de problemas en Instagram, pero bueno, muchas gracias de todas maneras los que siguen acá con nosotros. Bueno, está diciendo Kevin que el actor que hacía de what's the name of the character in The Thing?
The actor's name is Wilford Brimley, and he plays Blair.
Blair, el actor de Blair, ajá, el que les platicamos hace rato que se le abre la cabeza. Bueno, que dice que era un actor muy excéntrico, medio raro, que en algún momento trabajaron juntos también para una película era una película para Disney de Star Wars. Entonces Kevin estuvo haciendo algunos personajes ahí de Ewoks
It was a TV movie.
Era una película para la televisión. Entonces Kevin también estuvo haciendo algunos personajes ahí para Star Wars, para Disney, y este señor estaba trabajando en esa película. Entonces nada más fue como la anécdota es que el señor le dijo, tú tienes demasiado valor, como you have a lot of nerves, ¿no? Like tienes
like how dare you.
Ajá, como cómo te atreves a poder hacer realmente un diseño de un alienígena si nunca lo has visto, ¿no? Es como ¿cómo sabes a qué se parece un alien, ¿no? Y ya Kevin como de, bueno, y entonces ¿cómo debería de ser o qué se supone que es lo que tengo que hacer, ¿no? Y el señor como de, nada, no deberían de estar haciendo ninguna película de aliens. Y Kevin como, estamos trabajando aquí, ¿por qué dices eso, no?
And he was proud because he told me, it's like, I was the thing. And it's like, yeah, I know, I worked on it. And so we would talk. He was again, a funny guy, but like, I wouldn't want to hang around with him too much. Like, he was just very eccentric.
Okay. Well,
you know what we should talk about too is all the different types of effects that are in here, prosthetics and puppets and, you know, animatronics, which animatronics used to be just like mechanical, electric things at Disneyland. Now everyone started using them for like any kind of puppet effect would be an animatronic. But there's also stop motion in the movie.
Yes, okay.
There's only a couple of scenes that were done by a very good friend of mine named Randy Cook.
Ah, Randy.
Randy. Randall William Cook. He moved on to digital effects, and he worked on a million things, but he worked on the original 3 Lord of the Rings movies, winning an Oscar every year for those. So he's got 3.
Okay, wait. Entonces lo que estamos diciendo es que bueno, hay varias cosas y varios efectos, ¿no? Dentro de la película, aparte de estos efectos especiales que estamos hablando, como de la mano o de los maquillajes, pues también hay títeres, o también lo que es más complejo en este caso es los animatrónicos, y que hay algunas escenas que se hicieron con animatrónicos y hay otras escenas que se hicieron con stop motion. Está platicando Kevin sobre su amigo Randy, que bueno, él fue el que hizo esta parte de los stop motion. Randy trabajó para El Señor de los Anillos, en las 3 películas del Señor de los Anillos. Y bueno, pues en las 3 ocasiones del Señor de los Anillos ganó el Oscar, ¿no? Yes.
Yeah, there was actually a few more shots. There's only 1 or 2 where the tentacles come up out of the floor, and Kurt Russell has the dynamite, and he has the detonator, and the tentacle grabs it and takes it down. There was a couple of more shots, and even though Randy was like a world-class animator, like Ray Harryhausen quality. Randy was, yeah. Carpenter looked at the footage, and it just didn't, because stop motion has its own unique sort of look to it, no matter how smooth it is. And there's so much of the practical stuff and dripping slime and everything. And stop motion by necessity has to be its own world in style and technique that it does. He didn't think the 2 matched, so he cut some of this stuff out.
Oh, okay.
And Randy said Carpenter was very kind about it, called him up, you know, and told him, and just explained to him, it's just like, it's the look of it, it's great, but I feel weird cutting it into the movie, so there's only like 1 or 2 shots in there that Randy did.
Ok, bueno, pues está también contándonos que en algún momento pues John Carpenter tuvo que hablarle a Randy para decirle que no se iban a utilizar las escenas que había hecho, porque el stop motion tiene en sí por sí solo stop motion es un lenguaje muy complejo. Entonces, al final, pues el director sintió, creyó que no era adecuado para contar estas partes de la historia. Pero bueno, pues al final se hizo, ¿no? Randy los hizo y pues ya.
Well, here's something that ties into a little bit what we talked about last week. The score for the movie.
The flamethrower?
No, not the flamethrower. The soundtrack, the score, was done by usually John Carpenter, who would score his own movies, like Halloween, Escape from New York. He would write. Is a musician also.
Yeah.
But for this one, he hired Ennio Morricone, who did the scores for the Sergio Leone, Clint Eastwood spaghetti westerns, among a million other things. But I thought that was a cool little.
Bueno, John Carpenter, aparte de ser director, es también músico. Entonces él, bueno, en este caso, dice que un poco para unir el tema que estábamos tratando la semana pasada de Once Upon a Time in Hollywood y de los westerns. John Carpenter le habló a... What's the name of the musician?
Ennio Morricone.
Ennio Morricone. Que él hizo la música para Sergio Leone y en algunos de los spaghetti westerns de los que estábamos hablando la semana pasada.
And I guess we should say when the movie came out, it tanked. It was a flop at the box office. It came out the same time as E.T.
Okay.
They were both from Universal Studios, and E.T., of course, was like this huge success. So there's this happy little alien, and then there's this very dark movie about this scary, mean alien. And it seemed like everyone just wanted to see the happy alien, that year. So
again, heartbreak.
So it didn't do well at all until years later when cable TV started. Because this was even, I mean, you got to think back, this 1982, cable TV was just beginning with MTV and things like that. Over the years, it became like this cult classic movie that people started to look at and love, and now it's become, it's the thing. It's like that movie's awesome.
Oh.
But at first it wasn't.
Sí, bueno, estaba diciendo que, Carla, tenemos un poquito de problema con el audio, pero aquí andamos. Bueno, nos está platicando Carla.
Ay.
Que dice que en ese entonces, en 1982, cuando salió la película, pues a la par también salió E.T. Entonces, pues realmente The Thing no fue tan exitosa en su momento porque, dice Kevin, ¿quién iba a querer ver una película tan oscura como The Thing? Pareciera que todo mundo quería ver más bien al E.T. feliz, al E.T. para niños, ¿no? Entonces, bueno, pues no se volvió famoso sino hasta después, que ya se veía más como en la tele, no tanto en el cine, y pues ya se volvió una película de culto y de efectos especiales y todo eso, pero realmente en su momento pues The Thing no fue nada famosa o exitosa, ¿no? Entonces, bueno, pues yeah,
so I'm really happy I got to be like a little part in those last 2 months. I don't even get a credit on the movies. Like the one movie I really want a credit on, they had already done the credits by the time I came out. Like they were finishing everything up, so I don't even get one.
Dice Kevin que no tiene créditos en esa película, o sea, no salen los créditos porque ya estaban casi terminando ya estaban terminando de grabarlo, de filmarlo cuando él llegó, entonces ya tenían hasta hechos los créditos, ¿no? Pero bueno, pero después you were in Big Trouble.
I worked on 2 John Carpenter movies, both starring Kurt Russell. I worked on The Thing and then Big Trouble in Little China.
Big Trouble.
Much more involved. I was on that the whole way through and then on set with a lot of stuff, and that was a really fun movie to work on, and because also just we were making again like a lot of crazy creatures and effects and things like that. But we got to go shoot at 20th Century Fox Studios. And when you do like low budget things and TV commercials and stuff like that, you're at somebody's house or you're at Griffith Park. But to actually go to 20th Century Fox Studios and be on a soundstage, and it's like, this is where they shot Planet of the Apes, you know, and all the, you know, these great movies that I grew up with. That was so much fun. That was awesome. And just one day, Kurt Russell brought his kid over. We had one of the creatures that I was working on was like, this costume was sitting there in the head, and he brought the kid over, and it's like, hey, can I show my kid? And it's like, yeah. You know, so it was fun. It was a blast.
Ok, pues bueno, Kevin trabajó entonces para Big Trouble in Little China, que es otra de las películas de John Carpenter. No me pregunten cómo se llama la película en español, porque no lo sé. O sea, sería como Grandes Problemas en el Barrio, en el Pequeño China. Se escucha mucho mejor en inglés, pero bueno, pues bueno, trabajó ahí sí tuvo la oportunidad de estar todo el rodaje, ¿no? Y también es otra película donde sale Kurt Russell. Y y bueno, la grabaron en Fox, ¿verdad, Kevin?
Yes.
Sí, entonces dice que estaba en los estudios Fox, que estaba muy, muy emocionado porque pues ahí es donde se habían grabado otras películas que para él habían sido una inspiración, como El Planeta de los Simios, which one? Planet of the Apes.
Planet of the Apes, 20th Century Fox, I mean, they did a billion things in TV shows, and, yeah.
Muchísimas otras cosas, ¿no? Entonces para él era como, ay, qué padre, qué emoción, ¿no? Poder estar trabajando en ese lugar que albergó también pues todas estas cosas, ¿no? Chicos, en Instagram se nos está terminando el tiempo. Voy a parar aquí. De todas maneras, igual ya vamos a terminar nuestro video por acá. Pero muchísimas gracias a los que aún con la onda del audio se quedaron. Y pues bueno, de todas maneras va a estar el video en nuestro canal de YouTube para quien quiera volver a verlo con muchísimo mejor audio. Se los vamos a dejar ahí en el bio de Instagram, y también acuérdense que va a estar en nuestro Facebook, ¿sale? Let's just say goodbye to our friends on Instagram, and we can keep a little bit more going with our video here.
Okay, really? Okay, well.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's because, yeah, well.
Okay, well, really the only thing left, I guess, to say, that I have to say, is that anyone who's a fan of the movie, and I mentioned this to you, will hate me for this, but my very, very last job on John Carpenter's The Thing, and it came right from Rob Bottin, he told me to do it, was to take some pieces out to the dumpster and destroy it. So, like the two faces that are blended together,
yes,
those were made of fiberglass that had latex skins put over them that could be revealed, but the actual pieces underneath were fiberglass. And he gave me a lead pipe, and he said, smash them, which was not very easy to do. That was a tough job. Fiberglass is tough.
Sí.
And I asked him, it's like, Rob, are you sure you really want me to do this? You know, they're beautiful. They're in the movie. It's like, not knowing that it would become what it became over the years, but it's like why do you want to do this? And he told me, it's like, well, I have the molds. If I need to cast up a new one, I'll just cast up a new one. That served its purpose. It's done. And it's like, all right. And so I smashed them up.
Wow.
And I don't know if he ever cast them up again. I doubt it.
Well, I don't think it even matters now.
I wonder I don't remember talking to him. I might have asked him at the time, like, why do you want these destroyed? But it's so long ago, I don't remember now. I would imagine that, for one, he might think that Universal Studios will come and claim them and then use them in a way he doesn't want them to be used, or put them on display, or put them in an episode of some crappy TV show that he doesn't want. So it's like, let's just destroy everything here.
Of course.
The dog skins, that we burned those up out in the parking lot. When the husky dog transforms, those were actually roadkill German shepherds that were found. And we poured gasoline on them and lit them on fire and burned them up, and then took a shovel and threw them into the car. Which sounds like a scene from the movie.
Okay, wait, let me translate.
Just done as a safety precaution. Okay.
Ok, so todo empezó este último bloque del que vamos a hablar ya para terminar nuestro video. Bueno, dice Kevin que como que del último trabajo que le pidió Rob que hiciera es que destruyera el rostro que sale en la película, que está como estirado, que son 2 rostros, que por cierto se me hace que es uno muy bonito, porque incluso el detalle de los dientes y todo, like, I think I am just saying that I feel that this design is really cool, also because it has like a lot of details with the teeth.
Oh, it's amazing, yeah. And again, it goes by so fast.
Ya. Entonces, bueno, Rob le pidió que destruyera que estaba hecho de fibra de vidrio. Dice Kevin, fue un trabajo muy difícil porque la fibra de vidrio es muy dura, es muy difícil de destruir. Entonces, bueno, pues le dio un tubo de metal y a destruirlo, ¿no? Eso fue una de las cosas. Y la segunda es que esto me lo contó hace tiempo, y para mí es como, bueno, ven que hay una escena de los perros en donde se abre, y bueno, justamente toda esa piel es piel real de perros que obtuvieron o que sacaron, o no sé cómo le hicieron, de perros que se mueren en la carretera. Y entonces sacaron como esta piel y la utilizaron para la película. Ya al final pues la quemaron estos perros que se utilizaron con la piel real, y pues ya, ¿no? Lo quemaron y se destruyó. Pero sí es algo bastante loco esto que cuenta Kevin de utilizar piel real de perros muertos en la carretera. Es como, ¿what? Pero bueno, Kevin, I always enjoy talking about these things with you.
Well, me too. We'll have to think of something for next week.
Yes, I really like our new type of MDW weekend inspiration. And
we can do it.
Yes, let's try. I really would like us to talk about The Exorcist, maybe, I don't know if next week.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, but let's see if we have another idea, and we can surprise everyone with the next Friday and the MDW weekend inspiration.
There's a lot of movies that were, The Exorcist, The Fly.
The Fly, yes.
Cronenberg, The Fly.
Yeah.
A Request from CC.
Ah, okay.
So I think we have some time to fill, so we could do it here.
Yeah, perfect.
All right.
Okay, Kevin. So see you next time. See you next Friday. And thank you so much for sharing everything.
Oh, of course. It's my pleasure.
Okay. Send a shot. Bye.
Bye-bye.